up, beautiful people, to another episode of Pursuit of Destiny podcast. It's me, Ricky Jones Jr., and I am also excited because we have a very special interview today. We get the privilege to sit down and talk with my lovely wife, Miss Chrystle Jones. How you doing today?
I'm good.
Okay, all right. This is about to be fun. It's been a while since we've been on together.
I know.
I'm excited too, largely because, you have so much that you do, and so many things that you're passionate about. And so I'm just even excited for the people to get an understanding, right? In one case of what it is that you're doing, but then two, get the inspiration to know that they can do whatever it is that they're passionate about too. Obviously, That's what we're all about on this here podcast, which is birthed out of this family, which we're about pursuing destiny, but more than anything, doing things that we're passionate about, doing things that we know that we are purposed to do, with the idea that we get to fulfill our destiny. So, we're here, my dear. Yes. And I already said your name. Yeah. So you can lead in with your name, but then also to let the people know what you do.
So like you said, my name is Chrystle Jones. What do I do? I feel like it would be easier to say, Chrystle, what don't you do? I don't do math and I don't do rocket science or anything else relating to math, but other things I do.
Okay. I agree. Right?
No, I'm definitely like a serial entrepreneur type. Okay. I love business ideas, thinking of new business ideas, and I don't know, it just comes to me. But one of the things that I love doing the most is helping people find purpose in their life, in anything that they're doing, so that they can pursue destiny, pursue purpose, pursue destiny. That is my thing. Okay. So whether it's a relationship driven, whether it's business driven, whether you want to write a book, it doesn't matter to me. If there's a way to help you find purpose in your everyday life, whatever that looks like and means for you, I love helping people do that. Okay,
so now how do you avail yourself to the people that may be listening and oh man, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to write a book, I want to know my purpose, I want to pursue my, how do you avail yourself? How can they get in contact with you? We're going to start there.
Email.
Okay.
Email is a great way to get in contact with me. Okay. I take those type of emails and inquiries at mystilettomile@gmail.com.
We'll put it in the description.
So yes, I'm always emailing, talking to people, having full-blown conversations with people via email about their purpose, trying to help them navigate through some things. And I always read all of my emails, even the ones that start with, "I'm sorry, this is so long." Doesn't matter to me. Yeah. I like reading. I like writing. It's just like a mini book via email, so I will read it.
That's commendable. I mean, I'm one to run from long messages, but nonetheless, that's what you do. Now, when would you say that the passion for what it is that you're doing, when did it start?
Wow. That is a really good question.
Okay.
I don't know if I would say I know the answer to when the passion of it started, but I can definitely identify when the journey began. Okay. That led me to where I am now. And so for anyone that doesn't know me, I am the youngest of 4 children. I'm the only girl in our family, and so I have 3 older brothers, and my father, he's a pastor. He passed away, but he was a pastor, and my mother co-pastored with him, and we have a church, and it was okay, I could see where all of my brothers fit into that plan and everything navigating through that. But when probably about a year or so after graduating from high school, so I was in my going into my second year of college or whatever. And I remember going to talk to my parents, and I was like, I just don't know where I fit. I obviously support what we're doing. I believe in what we're doing, but I don't see where I fit. And so I would say coming to that honesty, even with myself, allowed me to start a journey where I began to pursue purpose, not just doing things for the sake of helping others, like, oh, they want me to do this, so I'll do it. But beyond that, I started to pursue purpose in a way that brought fulfillment to me in my life and what I felt like God wanted me in the earth to do.
Yeah.
And so I would say that's where that journey began. I can't say if that's the passion point, but that's definitely, I would say, being honest with myself in that moment is where that journey began. Because I was in that time still doing really fun, great things, doing missions, traveling the world. Like, I was doing really good things. But like I said, I came into the realization that there's a difference between doing good things and doing what you're purposed to do.
So what did that look like when you, I guess, soul searched, or you prayed, or you were just reflecting? Like, what did it look like to come to the realization that you didn't fit? And I ask that because, I mean, there may be some other people that, you know, may have a similar situation as yours as far as a family business that you all do. Or, you know, it could be individuals or people that are in family clusters, we'll call it, or family units, and they realize they're a little bit different than their mom, a little bit different than their dad, a little bit different potentially than their siblings, but they know it's something within that they should be doing. So, like, when did that aha moment or realization take place?
Wait, I just got confused. I felt like I was ready to answer a question, and then I feel like
no, answer what you
confused. Okay. So I would say, so one thing I would say is I don't think it's necessarily that I didn't fit. I just didn't see how I fit. Okay. And so I think we're all called to a family for a reason. And so it was more about me figuring out how I fit, knowing that I did feel like I looked different and I was kind of different and I move a little different than the other people in my family. Yeah. Still amazing people. I'm just a little different. So I think for one, it was definitely me just taking the time to understand how I fit versus and understanding what my contribution would look like. Sometimes it looks like a really close relationship. Sometimes it looks like a farther out relationship. And I think even beyond the scope of just family, people can be working with friends or anybody, or just be in situations in general where they're thinking, I don't know, like, this is like a little awkward. And then just really that, I would say that's probably that little poking of God pushing you or wanting to encourage you to pursue purpose. And I feel like purpose can have different seasons. So what's purposeful for you in this season may not be the same thing that God is having to be purposeful for you in the next season. So just because he's calling you to do it today doesn't mean it's something he wants you to do 10 years from now. It may still be connected to that, but the evolution of what that looks like may be different. So for some people, that may be the case as well. If they're feeling that, do I fit? Like, it just feels weird now. Like, and that may be that little nagging, not nagging, but, you know, that little tapping that God is just like, hey, no, it's not that this time was wasted. It was meaningful. It built you. It grew you. You got amazing relationships. But this is me poking you, saying it's time for your purpose to continue to evolve. And so I think what that evolution of my journey looked like was me getting some things right, me getting some things wrong, me trying some things, me moving around, me really giving myself the grace to explore. And I say it that way because when you're on your journey, it's not going to be 100% all the time. I don't think anybody can hear 100% right from God all the time. And so it's okay. But if you take a step, God can always course correct. But if you're stagnant, he can't redirect what's not moving.
That's true.
So it looked like me, you know, going out there, getting some things right and getting some things wrong. Right.
But we came together nonetheless. But we're not here for that. So in all that you do,
that was one of the things I got right.
I mean, you know, the both of us in our journey. But in all that you do, right, you listed a plethora of things, but you summed it up by saying, I don't do math and I don't do rocket science, right? So that leaves an abundance of things that you have the potential to do, or the possibility of us pursuing. But nonetheless, what would you say are like 3 things that you're doing right now?
So I would say, like, to answer 2 things. Yes, I can do a plethora of things. I would say at the baseline of all of those things is helping people pursue purpose and writing. I'm very passionate about writing. And so that's what I would say is the baseline for me, my stream. Now, 3 things that I'm doing right now. So I just released a book. Super excited about it. The book, the title of the...
I was about to say, are you going to say the title?
Yeah, the title of the book is Christians Deserve Orgasms Too.
Yes.
So... it's a thing. So I'm really excited about that. I feel
Go ahead, talk about that.
Okay. I was just going to say I'm really excited about that because I feel like, especially in the Christian community, but honestly, especially for women as a whole, there's been a lot of suppression and toxic communication in that area towards women. And so I took the time in this book to help redefine and clear out some of that toxic thinking, and then also to give Christian practical tools. This isn't the spiritual side. This is practical tools for navigating through what a healthy, intimate relationship should look like.
Yeah.
And I feel like we haven't done that. We haven't done that openly. We haven't done that on a broad scale. We wait until people are in trouble in their marriage to say, so what's your intimacy like? No, we should talk about this way before that. Before you're, 911, everything's burning. Like, we should talk about that sooner. And so I know it's not a book about my personal experiences. Right. I did a lot of research, a ton of research concerning this. I interviewed different individuals, and there's some very unanimous voices out there concerning what's going on. Yeah. And so those are what I centered the topics in the book on. And so, like I said, it's definitely practical tools, practical advice. And I think that one of the things that God has called me to do is to be bold and courageous in a way that speaks to people who are not maybe super churched or maybe super religious. I know the book won't be for everyone, and I'm 100% okay with that. Yeah. But I also believe that there are a group of individuals that are looking for transparency, that are looking for honesty, that are looking for clarity and direction in any number of areas of life, honestly. And God has allowed me to marry someone so amazing that appreciates my transparency. Fun time. It's a journey. But yeah, I feel like I'm definitely one of the voices that God uses to just be transparent and honest with people on not only this topic, but just an array of things. I always tell people when I meet them and I talk to them and wherever they're at in their journey, I'm like, listen, I've done too much and been through too much to judge anybody for anything. And so that's literally where I start with people. And I feel like God uses me to be able to talk to people in ways that, is transparent.
No, that's good. And that's just number 1, right? I don't know if there was other numbers. But nonetheless, I want to jump into that one for number 1, largely because it's just so God-like that we're even having this conversation at this moment. You even use the word courageous. And I say that because that's actually like the week that we're in right now on the podcast, talking about I am courageous, which comes from the affirmation book that you actually put together. Yeah. But nonetheless, like, what would you say, or, in the affirmation, I'll, just keep further reminding you what you've already said. You said, in order to be courageous, you have to be fearless. You have to be brave. You have to also just continue in doing whatever it is that your purpose to do. So how did you put on that courageous suit to be able to launch out in this book? Because, granted, it's against the grain, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You put orgasms and Christians in the same sentence, right?
On a cover.
On the cover of the book. And then even with a subline, it's like a little jab. But nonetheless, like, how did you just, become courageous enough, brave enough, fearless enough to be able to do it?
God.
Yep.
Definitely God.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing, when it's God that's leading you to do whatever your courageous thing is, there is going to be a poking, a pushing that will not relent.
Yeah. That
will eventually, today, tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's going to just keep nagging at you. And eventually you're going to be like, fine, I'm just going to do it. Like, and if I burn, I burn. Like, whatever it is, you know, in this process, obviously you're my husband, so you know.
Right.
In this process, I joined the Great Resignation.
Okay.
And so I became a full-time entrepreneur, writer.
Right.
And that was a big part, a big step. And I remember one day we were talking about it and, you know, like, how you doing? And I was like, you know, I wrote it down. But I told Ricky, I thought the big thing that I was doing and the big step that I was taking was me resigning from work, a full-time job. But I resigned only to realize that was not the big part. And I told him, I said, the big part was what I was becoming. It felt like I jumped off of a cliff and I was just like, I hope there's a raft down there. And listen, my mom always told me, Chrystle, one thing about you always land on your feet. And it's like, so I wasn't even fearful that, God, what are you going to catch me? Like, you know, what's going to happen now that I've jumped off this cliff and, you know, joined the resignation? Like, it wasn't a fear of, is there a raft down there? I was like, I told Ricky, the scariest thing is what I'm becoming on the way to the raft. Because that was just something I couldn't recognize, honestly. And so it was like into the unknown, like Team Frozen. Like, we have kids, so Disney reference. What I thought about. It was into the unknown. Right. But that was definitely like one of the parts that was just like, oh my gosh. But again, it was just that nagging. And so 2 months in, I think it was, into like the second or third month, I actually finished writing the book. Because again, how that nagging works, I started writing the book almost 3 years ago. Right. And I just hadn't finished it because, you know, the cares of life, the busyness of life, all of those things. But when I tell you it's a nagging that won't relent, like I had started writing the book and then I started doing a blog and I stopped, and, you know, there was these in and out journeys, but I got to a point where I was just like I said, like, I'm going to just do it. And whatever happens. Like, God, I know this is you. I know that's why it won't go away. And I think that was the thing too. There were so many confirmations along the way that helped give me courage. Just people checking in like, man, that was really helpful. Like, thank you for that advice. People keep asking me questions. Along the subject line. So I would say, even for anyone, whatever it is that they're doing, like, if it's something God has put inside of you, you don't even have to seek people. Like, people are going to find you to become a resource for them, for that thing that God is calling you to do, even if it's not what you're currently involved in. And that's part of that nagging. And it gives you courage. Right. So it was God. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, there was there was no, like, you know, I didn't repeat a bunch of stuff to myself every day. Like, definitely the affirmation, things like that are great reminders to back up what I know God is supporting. But, yeah. And then you just, at some point, got to put on, you know, your big girl pants and do it. That's it. I mean, you know, big girl pants, big boy pants. Right. Put your pants on. Look, if it's a dress, whatever you wearing, you got to put it on. You got to. You ain't doing it until you did it. Okay. Now, before we get to the number 2 thing that you're doing, let me ask this, and, you know, maybe double back at the end of this, but where do you see the book? Right? The book is a book. However, the topic is the topic. That's the thing that you're actually addressing. Where do you see the topic going, the book going, you going, talking about the subject itself? It's gonna have to take some courageous activities, right? I mean, talk about sex and orgasm everywhere you go, right? It's even taboo to even talk about it, you know, openly. So, like, where do you see it going, it doing, and it's interesting because technically, like, people consider it taboo or, you know, whatever, it has never felt weird to me to talk about those things.
Okay.
Like, I don't feel awkward. I don't feel weird. It don't bother me at all. So,
that's good.
Yeah, like, I don't, yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I want it to go everywhere, wherever it can go. I want to be a bestseller. I want to do talk shows about it, interviews about it, small groups about it, book clubs about it. I'll go anywhere and everywhere. Like, again, it's not embarrassing to me. It's not weird to me, awkward to me, because it's something we're all like, God created sex, and then it's like, but don't talk about it. Like, what?
Right.
Like, so, you know, I feel like for me, I'm honestly ready to go wherever God wants to take me. It was funny. I had a thought today, you know how people say move in silence. Okay. And God was just like, you're not going to be able to move in silence because the me and you is too loud. And it was like, okay, I was just like, the God in you is too loud to move in silence. And I never even cared about moving in silence per se. But yeah, that's just what he said. He's like, you're not going to be able to move in silence because the me in you is too loud. And so I take that across everything that I'm doing. Like, so with the book, I'm going to go wherever it takes me. Like, because I know it's going to change and transforms lives. We talk about, why is the marriage divorce rate as high as the, you know, unmarried people divorce rate and whatever. Like, you know what's going to help a lot with a lot of that? People understanding intimacy. That's going to help. You need to connect on that level. It's not everything, but it does matter.
Correct.
Like, the Bible said they became one.
Yeah. Like,
you know, after they had sex, like, they became one. And so that's a big part. And we can't discount that. But I feel like in a lot of ways we've tried to. So I'm here for it.
That's it. And I mean, you know, obviously I'm a whistleblower at the end of the day, in a sense where, like, you know, I have a horn of a mouth. But then I also have ideas, right? So in latest news is gjuNV. I don't know if you heard, but gjuNV's wife, he's a DJ and host on the Breakfast Club. His wife came out in the midst of them coming out with a book that she was faking having orgasms for 10 years.
I feel like I saw a clip. I didn't watch the clip, but I heard something about it.
Right. So, you know, the whistleblower of myself, I went on the YouTube video, like 2 of them, and was like, oh, there's a book for that. And, you know, dropped the link, Amazon link, there's a book for that. You know,
that's my man,
it was like, you know, 3-4 posts, 3-4 videos, it was like 12 total, you know, saying there's a book for that, there's a book for that. So, I mean, I'm even saying that to say that, to your point, right, I'm even excited hearing that God said it the way he said it, with the idea that you're not going to be able to move in silence. Because obviously I'm not a silent person, but at the end of the day, you know, being your husband and friend and business partner, I'm not going to push you beyond what I believe you want to do. Yeah. But I mean, it's even cool just to see it come up right now in conversation. And so, you know, hey, that's a potential. I mean, the platform is there. The ground is there. The need is there. All that to say, the need is there.
100% the need is there. And I'm here for it.
Yep.
I'm here for it.
All right, so that's business number 1, right? You know, that's business number 1 out of the many and the plethora that you have going on. So, what would you say is business number 2?
I would say something that's being put together.
Okay. To
help people. I mean, we already have, you know, Pursuit of Destiny Lifestyle, the business. Yes. So it's in that realm. Yep. If it's in there. In home. But helping people I'm putting together something to help people be able to get on the path that they need to be on to be able to pursue purpose strategically in 30 days. And so that's just another one of those poking things. I always end up helping people. And so really just putting together, like I said, like a 30-day program where people can hop in and get to what they need to do in like 4 weeks, because
it don't take all that.
And not even it doesn't take all that. Like, I don't know what it's going to take for people, but what I will say is you shouldn't delay. You shouldn't delay. Like, today is the day, not tomorrow. Right. And so, you know, in the sense of it don't take all that, it don't take all that waiting, that's for sure.
Right. And I say it that way because being in conversation with people that have different ideas and things that they want to do, they make it seem like it's so far away or so many hurdles and things that they have to do to cross over into the beginning stages where we know. I mean, because we've done so many different businesses, started different businesses, stopped certain businesses, continuing certain businesses on top of other businesses. We know that, it doesn't, in my words, it doesn't take all of that. It takes certain things to do, yes. Right. Certain foundations to have, yes. However, when you do have those things in place, you can go and flow how you want to go. So it's cool that, jumping in this from the husband perspective, that you're working on that, because I do have some ideas in that vein and in that respect. So definitely gonna look out for what's coming up in May, because I mean, it's go time, game time. So that's business number 2, and that one's called. Do you have a name for it?
No.
I mean, you already have like something out there already that people who want to launch a startup business can be a part of.
Well, I would say that's the third thing.
Okay. Oh, so that was number 2, and you said there's a number 3.
Yes. So number 3 is where we specifically help people that want to launch or start a business in 30 days. Okay. We help them to do that. We set them up with their business bare minimum so they understand just everything they need to do to be able to go from ideation to incorporation in 4 weeks.
Boom. No, I dig that. And so how do they take part in that?
So there is a website for that, pursuitofdestinybusiness.com.
Boom, boom. It'll be down in the description down below. You don't have to remember all of these things, but know that there is a resource down below for you to be able to tap into whatever it is that you are feeling the urge to do so, right? All right, so here we are, Miss Jones, and all those 3 things that you are doing, right? How do you see either passion or purpose being like exuded or used in those ventures? Which you've kind of talked about it in it, but just making sure that those things don't get missed. Largely because, right, a lot of people have different things, which different things that they know that they're purpose to do, or different passions that they have, but they're like, man, I don't see it fitting, but only in this one way. But no, I mean, you're a prime example to me that passions, purpose, and things like that can fit in various boxes and not just a way, but there's multiple ways. And so, I mean, truly an inspiration. However, how do you see those things?
So I see a web in my mind. And so I tell people, it seems like I'm really random and sporadic, but there's all these connecting dots. And when we get there, everybody will see like, whoa, she really just built this whole empire, and it all connects. So there is a foundation and a connecting point. And one of the things so I tell people all the time, I'm like a serial entrepreneur. I love starting businesses, and I'm a multipreneur. I like doing multiple businesses at once, multiple things at once. And so even if you're somebody that wants to do a business or something like that, I would say I even specialize in helping people with multiple business ideas, because one of the most stagnating and painful things to tell a person that's a serial entrepreneur or a multipreneur is that you can only do one thing at a time. Like, that's the quickest way to make them freeze, because now they 6 months trying to figure out which one thing am I going to do. Like, or they'll start one thing and then be like, no, I really should do this thing instead. So then they put something down. No, I can help you figure out how to do it all, like, at the same time. That's good. So that's one of the things that I do in the course that we have, where we talk about launching your business in 30 days. We do that. And then, of course, we do offer one-on-ones as well to help you navigate more deeply through strategic planning for doing your multiple businesses at once. Right. But that was a resource that I knew I needed. So that is one of the ways that I find purpose, is being able to help people that are, I would say, like myself, that have a ton of ideas, who've always felt the stagnation of being told you can only do one thing at a time effectively. Yeah. And it's just not true. Right. So boom, that's one of the ways that I feel purpose. And then I would say 2.
Can you hold on to the thought?
I can hold it.
So I even want to like jump into it with the idea that, it's cool for me just hearing this, and hopefully it's cool for you just to hear the fact that, you know, we're married. She has a passion to help multipreneurs or people that have multiple business ideas do what they do. What I love to personally do is help people start businesses. Like, if I could get you to start, I know I could send you to somewhere else to grow, to thrive, to be the multiple, you know, what do you call it?
Multipreneur.
Boom, that person, right? Like, I just want to get you to start going and being in business. Like, that's where I'm at. That's my pocket. But even so, like, let's just show them how multifaceted we are, right? So I'm gonna name the businesses that I'm like heavily in, and you name the ones you're in, then we'll go to your next point, right? So for me, but it's we. At the end of the day, on all paperwork, it's 50-50. Period. Just want y'all to know, okay? But however, I'm active.
I just have to tell them, this is how much I don't do math. We get to the bank, and I'm like, can we just do like 100?
Yeah. And they look at her. They look at her kind of like you just thought.
I was like, it's all in all. 100.
Yeah, no, it's 50-50 at the end of the day, you know. It's 50. And the kids are involved. But nonetheless, I'm heavily involved in our YouTube channel that we have, a gardening and palette. It just should be gardening, but I do palettes as well because that's the one that jumped off. And out of that, we get the opportunity to do various affiliates and things like that. So that's one thing. But then also, obviously, the podcast, which I'm heavily active in. You'll see more of my lovely wife. She does things on Fridays, but even be able to see her on the podcast as well. But there's also a gardening business that we have as well, which that has shifted in multiple ways, but now with a current focus of being able to help sell kale and help different people start their gardens, and it's gonna evolve because we also have some chickens now. But anyway, so like that's the three things that I would say I'm like heavily active in. What are the ones that you're heavily active and involved in?
So yeah, like I said, I do the writing. Boom. I created.
I want to say do the write. She's a writer. Books,
right, I do writing.
Movies, plays. Like she's a writer. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm a writer. I also created our course on how to launch your business in 4 weeks.
Boom.
I do, I guess you could say like relationship consulting for singles.
Yep.
Helping them meet and marry the one sooner. So that is a YouTube channel
Boom.
that I have that talks to people about how to meet and marry the one sooner. Mm-hmm. I'm getting ready to go on a tour. Doing speaking engagements with concerning and pointed towards that. Mm-hmm. I have a hair company where I sell luxury wigs and extensions. Mm-hmm. We have another lifestyle YouTube channel where I do cooking videos and stuff like that. True. Building up my Instagram now to start doing restaurant and travel reviews. So I do a lot of restaurant and travel stuff on there. And of course on the website that I have, I do blogging and vlogging and those things.
They also help with marketing.
Yes. So also I do consulting for companies for building out marketing plans, 30 and 60-day marketing strategies for various businesses. And
for those who are listening and not watching, I now have 9 fingers up. I mean, you know.
When I said a multipreneur,
we're there, right?
We started a publishing house, a publishing company. So I'm now also helping people. I'm in the process of helping 2 people with their book writing process. So I help people write their books and understand how to distribute them.
Boom. It's 10.
That's all I want to talk about.
It is. You know what I'm saying? So her 10 plus my 3, our total is 13 businesses right now.
And I literally texted him yesterday. He didn't text me back. I feel like he's like, Chrystle, you're doing too much. But I texted him yesterday and I was like, I just thought of a business idea.
She did.
It's a really, really good one. And I already know the 2 people I want to do with me. Like, this joint gonna be a hit.
What I want you all to do that are watching this is to tap into her on the book side, the Christian Deserve Orgasms, because we're gonna ride that wave.
Yes.
Because the need is there, and then we will do, gotta work it out.
And there's 3 books that are connected with that journey, so I'm excited. So this is the first book. Well, yes. 4, because there's the book. There's going to be a workbook that goes alongside it. Okay. And then there's 2 other books that are coming out that are going to be beneficial for those who are along that topic. So,
you know what I'm saying? It's a thing. It's a thing. So obviously I stopped you in the train of thought that you were into, and I'm going to talk until you get it. But stopped you in the train of thought just to show you all how diversified we are as far as businesses are concerned, even in this one household. And, I will do a podcast one day just to even explain how we have things set up, because they are in a particular way for a specific reason, even down to the bank accounts and things like that. So, definitely stay tuned for that. I think I'm going to start making some shifts in this here podcast. Just really want to help you all thrive and you all grow as people, but then also as it concerns to your businesses. So did they give you enough time to get you back to where you were? No, because we were talking about passion, we were talking about purpose and seeing those things operate in the various businesses that you talked about.
I feel like I answered that though.
Gotcha.
I feel like I answered it.
You in there. Okay. No, that's cool. So at the end of the day, what would you say it's not the last question, but this is like summing things up.
Okay.
Right? What would you say is necessary for somebody to operate in their purpose despite the circumstances?
I'm just thinking about your question.
Yeah.
For me, I would just say do it.
Boom.
It's not done until you did it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's true.
I don't know if that helps everyone. But for me, I've always been a doer.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say just do it.
Yeah.
There'll always be a reason not to.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a reason for tomorrow, but tomorrow is not the day. Today is the day.
Boom. Man, I wish I could end on that note. However, I have a question. This could be my final one, right? But the final one is involving destiny, right? Mm-hmm. And so where do you... Let me not ask that question because we have had a fun conversation as it pertains to destiny, right? So let me ask this. In 10 years, who do you see yourself being, or who do you see other people seeing you as, and or where do you want to be 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I want to be traveling the world writing.
I love it. Period.
Boop.
Period. And the fun thing about that, right, as her husband, I obviously know a lot. The fun thing about that, she's already started showing me places overseas that have writing, I'm going to call it cohorts, or writing groups more than anything, just to help people come together who do write and learn how to write and do it better. So, I'm seeing where you are right now. I'm liking the consistency because, that's my thing. I love consistency. But, I do love a thread. I do get the grand scheme of things in the web because, obviously, I have webs and, it's fun if y'all, one day, we'll have a group one day to be able to show you all our webs to just show how the things come together. It is cool because even as I was saying that, I kind of had the visual of parchment paper, how it's kind of see-through. Mm-hmm. And so having your web and then having my web and then being able to come together and it looks like a web. So yes, my dear, yes, my friend, my partner, my wife, Miss Jones. Anything else you want to say to the people before we depart? Just making sure they know all the different places they can connect with you with and things like that.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll put it in the description, but follow my Instagram. Like I said, I'm building that up for my food and my travel stuff. I like trying new foods and new places. Okay. So that is on a budget. So that is at Hey Miss Jones. That is that handle. I am actually on Twitter. Don't ask me my Twitter name right now because I don't be on Twitter like that. I'm going to send it. It'll be in the description box. Check out the YouTube channel, A Purposeful Pursuit. If you're on your singleness journey. Or I also do lifestyle content. I talk about my journey as a full-time entrepreneur on there and stuff. So there's some good stuff you can find on there. Encouraging stuff, I would say. So definitely check me out on there. And I would also just say, like, because I know this is like Courage Week. I know this is not
the week that you created, by the way.
I know this is not a deeply profound statement, but if you want to know, like, what can I do to have courage, do it. Whatever it is. And I say that because you think you'll fail until you don't. And you'll never know that you won't fail until you do it.
True.
And so once you do, I promise you, you can do one thing and succeed, and it will give you courage to try 10 more things. And even if you fail at the next 9 of them, once you succeed one more time, you have courage to try 10 more things again. And so you just have to get started so that you can have that courage to continue, because once you are successful, that one time, it gives you the steam that you need to be able to continue trying. So, you know, tomorrow's not the day. Today is the day.
Today is the day.
Do it. How do you have courage? Do it. Whatever it is.
Just like that at the end of the day.
And I would say, too, if you feel like people are not receptive to what it is that you're saying, you might just be talking to the wrong group of people. If you know it's something that you're supposed to be doing, something that God told you to do, like, don't just accept the people around you not understanding or not engaging with it. You might just be talking to the wrong group of people. So that's definitely a thing. And then I would say to reach out to somebody. You can reach out to me. That's fine. And get some feedback. You can get some unbiased feedback on whatever it is that you're doing to help you navigate through that. But don't give up just because people may not get it at first or, you know, whatever like that.
That's good. That's good. I dig that. Thank you, my dear, for being with us here today. Definitely look forward to further conversations and things like that we'll be able to do on this here podcast, in which we appreciate you and thank you for tuning in, especially if you made it this far. If you could click that subscribe button, and I know, and I'm asking you to do so because there will be such beneficial information for you, not just what you heard today, but more, because I mean, we live together, so we can do this more often. And definitely let us know if you have any questions or things like that. Put it in the comment section, and we will be sure to avail ourselves to answer that, which is something that she does on her Purposeful Pursuit YouTube channel. So we'll see how that evolves and things like that. So with that being said, we love you all and we appreciate you all. And as we say, don't just live life, but pursue destiny daily. Love you all. See you on the next one.